Hi. Welcome to the 8 in the Box podcast. Today is Wednesday. It's February 2nd, 2022. How cool of a date is that? But we're here where we talk football. Oh, man. It's one game left. It's the Super Bowl, but it's the week before the week of the Super Bowl. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk maybe some other things. He's here with me, as always. I am Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere. That's a Sports BK Consig on the Twitter. And listen, I'm dressed like a quarterback that we know is playing in the game, but he is my quarterback. He's B. Howe. I call him Brad Howe. He's Brad Howe 07 on the Twitter. B. Howe, Super Bowl week, man. We made it. Can you believe it? And we got Cincinnati in the game.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's always great to speak with you. But I don't know. I always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you because we do these podcasts. You never know when people are listening.
Yeah.
But with you, I say that because I see you in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and you're dressed up like it's Halloween with Joe Burrow. The Joe Burrow costume has been omnipresent here over the last few days.
Can't get enough of him. Joe B, baby. Joe Cool. Joe Burrow. Let's go. Let's
Cincinnati.
go. We can
Cincinnati
say it like
and Joe
yeah.
Burrow.
Come on. How good is that? Matthew Stafford's story is great. We'll get to all that and the Rams and the Bengals and all the props and all the other stuff. We're recording the audio portion of the podcast as well as the video portion of the podcast right now, making it all possible. Thank goodness. Our producer, Dan Alexander on the Twitter. He's known as Newbie Talks, at Newbie Talks. Newbie, you keep doing it these Sundays. I ain't talking about betting and making plays, although you're doing that too. And I'm not talking about lacrosse and what you're doing on the field with the kids and the coach and all that stuff. I'm talking about that food on Sundays. What are you talking about? My first question for you is breakfast for dinner? Big fan?
Oh, when you get the insatiable hunger for Brinner, there's only one thing that can provide, and that is Brinner. Happy to be here with you, boys. And when we finally get together, I'll be throwing down. I will say, amazing that since we started doing more shows with Brad and he's dropped the Cincinnati, which is one of my favorite things ever, they've now made it to the Super Bowl, Dave. I'm not saying there's any Brad Howe juju going on, but I like it.
Tell me about it. I don't want to bet against him now because I've been saying it. I'm hearing a lot of other people saying it like that. I don't know where they got it from. I don't know if that's just a thing. I'm not saying people are taking their stuff or saying it like Brad, but I'm saying it like Brad every time. Even people keep asking me, why are you saying it like that? Because my guy, B. House, says it like that. That's why. I mean, how do you not know that?
All right. Remember, and real quick, remember, for our friends in Cincinnati, that is said with all the love in the world. That comes from, I'm in West Virginia. I spent a lot of time in the WVU athletic department. That comes from a former assistant basketball coach here at WVU that worked at the University of Cincinnati for a long time. That's how he would say it, Cincinnati. So we say it in loving memory of my guy, Gary Mack, Cincinnati.
Gary Mack. All right. Well,
Cincinnati.
It's all love. And I think, let's just look at it from last week's perspective. It wasn't much love for Cincinnati last week at the betting window. There was a lot of Kansas City money. Nobody was even taking a shot with the future. Nothing. B, I'll take it away, but I just wanted to touch on last week's games and what we saw. But I'll give you this. I'll start. My first impression was KC had Cincy on the ropes. The play before the half was the play before the half. They should have kicked the field goal. I think if they ask them 10 times, I think they'll be honest, we should have kicked the field goal. We did not.
No question.
But they didn't put them away. They hung around. And Cincy got it done. And they earned every bit of that. Kansas City didn't lose that game. Cincinnati won that game. Okay. KC could have put them away, but no, they didn't, give it away. Cincy earned it. The other game, as nasty as a game as could be. I mean, there was physical, just they were beating the crap out of it, which is an old school, nasty football game that I think if San Francisco would have got one more score, we would have been talking about this like it was 1989. And we could have brought back all the 1989 references. what you were doing, what I was doing back then in Cincinnati, San Francisco would have been the Super Bowl. We would have had a Jimmy and we would have had a Joe, and it would have been all kind of fun stuff. Instead, we got the LA story of Matthew Stafford and them being it's like 4.5 now point favorite. But your quick reflection on what you saw over the weekend, and then we'll move forward and you can take it away.
Yeah, you make some great points. I think for me, take the AFC side for just a second, because as much as I love to say Cincinnati, and I think, listen, I think Burrow's terrific. I think he's going to be a face of the NFL for a long time. Love his attitude, not just his skill set. Chase, Higgins, Boyd, they've surrounded him with weapons. They've done it. There's a couple different ways to do it when you have the franchise quarterback. Build the line first and protect, and then add your skill. Cincinnati went the other way. They got the premier quarterback. They added skill around him and now hope to upgrade and add to the offensive line. I'll get to that part in just a second. So Burrow's a great story. Chase is a great story. That offense is a great story. We're probably not talking enough about the job the defense did for Cincinnati against Kansas City. Those adjustments, we'll hear a lot the next couple of weeks about the defensive adjustments from the Bengals side of things. They were fantastic. Absolutely shut down Mahomes in that offense in the second half. So don't overlook the Cincinnati defense as we go into this matchup. And I think the challenge will be now from a handicapping perspective, and this is where you need to help us along. The numbers are going to tell you the Rams, right? I mean, you're already seeing, as you mentioned, the line's already moving in that direction. They're at home. Take the Rams. Stafford's rolling. Cooper Kupp is going to catch 413 balls for 2,000 yards just in that game. Cooper Kupp overs on everything. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. OBJ is coming on, right? He's turning into a valuable receiver. So all that points that direction. But what about Cincinnati? I mean, I can't get Cincinnati right. I've gone against them every round. I probably have to keep going against them. I can't get them right. How do you handicap the Magic or a team that is just finding ways? Give up 9 sacks against the Titans. So the narrative against the Chiefs, well, the Chiefs offense is going to roll. That defensive line of the Chiefs, they're going to get pressure with 4. Burrow's going to get sacked again. Well, what's the story going to be next? What, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, this Bengals defensive line or offensive line isn't going to be able to stop. Does that matter? How do we account for the magic that Cincinnati has been putting together, or does that end this week? Is it done? Start there.
That's the hard part, right? That's why the Super Bowl is the most watched television program every year. And I don't think it's funny because you don't put it into the number. You don't. You just put it into the betting. So the number comes out and it's 3.5 and 51 at some spots. And immediately there's people waiting. It's so much fun. I've been there Sunday during Championship Sunday, and they're like, all right, are you ready? What's the line? What's the line? And I was doing it on Sunday. Just the old habits, they die hard. And this is just who I've been part of this business for so long. Sunday, I'm trading texts. What's the Cincinnati number? What's the Cincinnati? Because against San Francisco, at halftime, it was the number. What are you making the number with San Francisco? Are they 2.5 or 3? Are they 2.5 or 3? That was the debate. Trading text. Would you use 3? You don't want to use 3 open and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, isn't that the number? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to put San Francisco minus 3.5 and take $1 zillion on Cincy first? Like, you guys know, put it 3. One guy was like, I'm using less than 3. I'll let him bet San Francisco. So we're going back and forth. And then it's the Rams. And it's like, whoa, what? Wait, the Rams are definitely going to win. Whoa. Well, it can't be the same number. It can't be. The Rams were favored against the Niners. Has to be higher. Well, how much higher is it? So I said 4 when it was coming back to me. I was like, you got to make it higher than 3.5. One guy was going to use 3. I'm like, man, you're going to take all Rams money. They're waiting. So then the bets start coming in. Rams. How do you handicap the Magic? You don't in the number. You put it into the total a bit more than you do the side, I think. I think you're talking about the offensive line of the Bengals and the defensive line of the Rams. That's the story when you're really looking at the handicap. How many times can Burrow get out of trouble, get sacked like he did in the Titans game, We talked earlier this week on Game Within the Game. We forgot they played the Raiders. It's been that long.
Forgot. Totally forgot. Totally forgot they played. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, what was the Bengals' first playoff game? You're like, the Titans. I'm like, no, remember they almost lost to the Raiders. Oh, yeah, that's right. They had trouble protecting him. And then this is an unbelievable run they're on. You can't handicap this. You cannot. If Joe gets this done, he's going to do it in the face of adversity. A young guy doing things that, not a lot of people do. The other thing we always come back to is, how many times have we seen this before where it's this young guy on the come up and you almost get it done? Like, the reality of the situation sets in. This number is a dose of reality, right? There's no magic in this number. There's no, and people betting it with bags, like the bag guys are telling me, and any book that had 3.5 or even 4, because it's 4.5 now. There ain't no magic. And the Joe Burrow show is going to come to a screeching halt here at the end. It may be fun. It may be a great story, but the Rams are the side for those guys, because it's simply the lines, the offensive and defensive line. That's the matchup that's going to determine this football game. If the Rams get to them, it may be I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, do you think this could be a blowout?
Well, that recent history would tell you no. We're on a run of 16 of 17 games. The last 16 of the last 17 Super Bowls have been 14 or less in margin. I think I've got that number right. So history would suggest no. I get what you're saying. The story is the lines, but quite frankly, the story is always the offense and defensive lines. And Cincinnati's finding a way around that. But we saw that last year, didn't we? A lot of people dismissed Kansas City's offensive line problems. You kept hearing all week, this guy's out, this guy's out. It's Mahomes. It's Hill. It's Kel. They don't need their tackles. Who needs the tackles? Don't worry about that, right? What'd you see? Tampa's defensive line absolutely ate him up. So that, I think that's what's hard is can Burrow, do those guys have one more game of magic in them? Or is this where it catches up? Because here's the other part. If you want to talk about both sides, which we're doing, and I know we're hopping around. I mean, Matthew Stafford's not going to throw 2 picks. He's not going to give you up a pick 6 at some point with this Cincinnati defense. You lock, stock, and barrel behind Stafford that he's ready to roll without any mistakes. That's not a totally comfortable position to be in, is it?
No, it's not. But it's so funny how the names change, the teams change, but the story stays the same. You just said it with Mahomes and just dismissing. I heard it for 2 weeks last year, and I kept going, guys, they're playing in Tampa. KC's favorite. Well, yeah, it's their home stadium. I know they know it's just they ain't got to travel for nothing. That has to mean something. Nah, don't worry about it. It's Mahomes, like you said. Oh, but the line, nasty D, pounding running game. Cam Akers, if he's running and they got a lead, they're not going to let Stafford throw a pick because they ain't going to let him throw the ball unless it's the Cooper Cup, which, again, we're going to have to bet those props over. But this may turn out to be last year's game exactly. But we got the favorite being the NFC team instead of the AFC because they're at home. But it may turn out to be a very similar game where they got the better defense, they got that running game, and they got that experience. I mean, Stafford knows he's no Tom Brady, which, by the way, can't believe this guy retired. Can't believe he retired, but I can. It's time. It's time, Tom. Anyhow, this is playing out. Now you're saying it. You just said it out loud. This is playing out like last year's game. This is just I like the Rams even more now after you said it. And this is how it goes. I'll talk to you and I'll be like, oh, Rams, baby. B. Howe just put it in the thought of my head. This is Rams. Then I'll go do another show and I'll be like, listen, Joe Burrow, this, blah, 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 blah. Oh, maybe since he's live. Is Cincy live? Since he could win a game. I don't think it could go over though. That's the one thing I'm adamant about. I like the under. I mean, I'm lock, stock, sold on the under in the game.
Even as it's ticking down, even
Yes.
under as we record today.
Yes, I think as long as it's 47, I mean 47 is the bottom. I don't think it even gets that low because you just don't like this. The reluctance to move the line in the Super Bowl. I mean, it was funny because the last year I was there, we had a couple new guys in the room, and our boss was like, "No one move anything in the Super Bowl unless you call me." And I was like, "Okay." And then I texted him. I said, "You want me to call you? Like, do I?" He's like, "No, I just had to say that in the room so everybody knew." I was like, "All right, cool." Because there was a couple of us that had a lifetime of experience like him, and was like, "Dude, can we move the props? Like, are you worried about it moving at 5, 10 cents?" And he's like, "No, Dave, you're good. I just don't want those guys moving it. We're gonna take 5 dimes on the Rams. They're gonna move it to 5." Like, okay, all right, I got it. So, yeah, you don't move the Super Bowl line. Like, we talk about this stuff every week, game within the game. This show, 8 in the Box. We talk about line movement and different things like that. Throw all that out the window for the Super Bowl. None of that means nothing no more. I don't know who the sharp side is, the pros and the Joes and all this other stuff, the rhombuses and the parallelograms. Super Bowl, man. We got the lineup. You bet. We're not worried about moving it. We're not tracking line movement. What we are doing for that stuff is the props. That's what we got to really
Well,
keep our eye on.
and I got some props for you in just a second, but let me slide this in real quick. If I want to
Mm.
do a same game teaser here,
Yep.
if I want to do a same game teaser, let me give you some numbers first of all from VSiN. Ready? They
Okay.
do a great job with trends. We use them every week.
Yep.
The last 19 seasons, this
Okay.
surprised me. There's a big separation in terms of favorites and dogs on the teaser, on the standard 6-point teaser.
Okay.
Favorites are just 10-9 using the 6-point teaser,
Mm.
but dogs are 16-3. Number
Damn.
one. All right, set that aside because we're going to come back to that, which that probably makes sense, right? Because if you're just taking the side in the teaser, what you don't want to go down through 2, 2.5,
No.
1, 0. I
Yeah.
mean, you're getting some dead numbers in there. So the values on
Yes.
the dog up when there's this. I get that. All right,
Right.
now total with what you just said, I find that interesting. The trend on the total in 53 games that had totals posted, 53 Super Bowls with totals posted. The over is 36-17. This is when using the teaser.
Yep.
Over is 36-17, under 35-17. So that's helped us, either side, whatever side you want to go. So
Damn.
knowing what you know, are we Bengals up to 10.5? I mean, that's
Yes.
a nice number on the Bengals. That's
Perfect.
automatic.
Yep.
Do I take the total down to 41 at 42.5, whatever number you're going to get, or do I push it up and bring it under? If you like the under already, I think you're going to tell me push it up and take the under still.
I would, but you just, man, those are both 66 percenters.
So either way's worked.
70%. Either way has worked.
I mean, those trends tell you take the Bengals, and then whatever you want to do with the total, you should be in some pretty good shape here.
Yeah. This should be a good teaser result either way if the number's good. So, newbie, you're the teaser guy. What do you think when you hear that? Which way would you do when you look at it as just a straight teaser, side and total?
Well, Brad perfectly laid it out there. You can do it either way. And what I did is before they started moving this Rams line, I did the EV teaser. I took them through 0. So I got them plus 2.5, and I have the under there since it keeps going down. And then I'm going to wait and take the Bengals at 10.5. And then once the total gets lower, I'm going to try and get it like over 41. So the way that Brad laid it out, I plan on hitting both of them. The one I have already is the Rams.
Beautiful.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I would go Bengals and under, but I don't think you can go wrong with Bengals and over. What would surprise you more, a high scoring game or a low scoring game? I did the in game for the Rams and the Patriots 13-3 game, I believe was the final, right? Let me just confirm that was the final score. 13-3. Yes, 13-3. The game closed Patriots minus 2.5 for 57.5. It was 13-3. It was one of the most painful Super Bowl experiences that I've ever had because I was taking a lot of money in bets, and I was running the whole thing live by myself. And I had my bosses, the top bosses in the room, and these guys were pretending like they were on a vacation. And I'm sitting there watching bet, over, 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 over. After we graded the game, they're like, wow, we won a ton of money on the in game. How'd we do that? Nobody scored. Everybody bet the over. What did you guys think I was doing over here? I was sweating. I was running to the bathroom during commercials. It was the only person allowed to do it. It was a hard one to watch, but it was one I'll never forget. I think we're likely to see that type of game than a shootout. I do. I would be very surprised if this thing like flew over. If we get both teams in the 30s. Be how you looking more. I mean, I know you like the scoring. I know you like the overs. Your teaser is what? You're thinking Bengals and over.
Yeah, I was. I've got to look at that a little bit.
Yeah. It's
I've
hard,
got to look at that a
right?
little bit.
There's no, I don't think there's no right way to do it right now.
Well, those numbers tell you there's not a right way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Those numbers tell you you're okay either way, but you gotta take the Bengals. If you can get 10.5 on the Bengals, you gotta like that.
I think so. I think
do
that,
too.
I mean, that sounds like, I don't want to say that it can't lose, but the Bengals have proven they're going to hang around. But if the Rams win by 13, would that shock you?
No.
I know.
No.
Me neither. That's the hard.
Which you bring up an interesting number there, and we'll get more into these some of the novelty props next week. The shortest rushing touchdown under 1.5 yards, the largest lead under 14.5. We'll do some of that next week. That's a lot of fun around this game. Okay, we'll do some of that.
Yes.
All right, let's dive. You want to talk some props here real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's do this. All right, so there's our teaser. We got to start with our guy. Game within the game, Cooper Kupp as just cashing. We just roll with Cooper Kupp.
If I had a son, I'd change his name right now to Coop. Just call him Coop. I wouldn't call him Cup, but I call him Coop.
We've seen this 7.5 line a bunch. DraftKings in particular got wise to it. 8.5, bumped it up to 8.5.
Have to.
It's plus money at 8.5.
Over.
I mean, it has to be over.
Oh, well, no,
over 8.5 is plus money, plus 105 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So here's the thing, and you said it earlier in the program. The game script could turn out the other way, where the Rams are up, they're running, they're going. But it also might not. They also might just have to be feeding Cooper Kupp as they have all season. Dave, he averages 8.5 receptions per game. So we're getting plus money on his average. He's hit this number over in 11 of 20 games. 11 of 20. And as the games have gotten bigger, they've fed him more the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
So I get the potential for the game script is what costs you here, but I've got to play the over on Cooper Kupp. I mean, I know we like to look for unders in Super Bowls. I've been riding overs on Cooper Kupp all year. I'm not stopping now. Give me plus money for 9 catches. I'm in.
The only one he didn't was the playoff game against the Arizona Cardinals, remember?
Yes. Yep.
And they didn't have to throw the ball because that was the game that Akers announced his presence with authority and came back, and they ran and ran and ran and kept running and ran and ran and ran. And the defense took over the game. And then that one drive, it just hit Coop. Okay. 62 yards, I believe he had, 6 receptions. I believe he did have a touchdown. Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown. Another gift that keeps on giving in the book for people that are betting it.
You book guys are catching us minus 200 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
So that thing's gone 135 to 150 to minus 200. You want it? Here, you want it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, nobody knows shit, but sometimes in the book, you're like, listen, we put up with I used to call it the FU price. You want to bet at FU? Go ahead, bet it. You're going to pay. And people keep betting it. And the Super Bowl handle's incredible for these props. And everybody that bets the props will have a Cooper Kupp prop. It will be the most, whether it's the receptions, the yards, the touchdown, minus 200. Is that enough to keep you off?
Probably not. I mean, I might just ride Cooper. He's made us a lot of money, so I'll reinvest. You're giving me plus money on over 8.5. It might be a loser. I'm taking it. I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl after riding Cup all year and seeing him catch all these balls. I am not going to sit in the Super Bowl with no Cooper Cup ticket, especially at plus money, and watch him get 12 receptions. I'm just not doing it. Now, he might get 7. He might get 7.
Right.
I might lose the bet. I'm playing the number. Give it to me.
He might
Let's
get
go.
8 and you lose the bet. Like
Okay, fine.
That's the one that's going to be hard to stomach if he gets 8, but you're okay with it.
Yeah,
it'll be the only Cooper Cup prop where you're going to get plus money. It's the only one that you can look at all of them. Unless we find some crossboard prop or something where he's the dog to total goals scored in a Florida Panthers game, maybe something like that, or some, who knows? But yeah, it's the only plus money prop. Listen, sometimes the price is the Super Bowl. Sometimes you're going to have to lay the price, but that's okay. I've seen guys come in to bet that there wouldn't be a safety and lay minus 1,400. They would give me $14,000 to win a dime, to win 1,000. Couldn't wait to do it. So don't let anybody tell you sometimes, you can't lay the juice. You can lay the juice. If it wins, it's fine. And if you're okay with paying a little bit extra juice on a price or something and losing, do it anyway. Don't let anybody tell you can't lay the juice. That's ridiculous.
Don't worry. We're going to get to laying the juice coming up in another section here in just a second. You fine. You want to advise us to lay the juice? I'm going to get you to lay the juice. That's coming.
Go. What do you
All right. So plus money on over receptions. Give it to me. His yards, Dave, his yards at over total sitting at 102.5, over minus 140. Okay. But here's the deal. He's averaging 117 yards per game. So he's over that number in 13 of 20 games and 7 of his last 9.
Oh, man.
The numbers are telling you take it. Again, I get the game script disclaimer, but here's the other thing. It's not a lock that the Rams are going to be up either. They might have to throw the ball.
True.
And if they throw the ball, OBJ and Cooper Kupp, let's go. Here we go. Load them up.
Well, yeah, and we got to worry about Higbee. Did you see Higbee get taken off the field? And we haven't heard yet exactly if he's going to play or not. If he don't play, we got the backup tight end, the only other tight end on the roster, who, by the way, should be a look as far as props, receptions, yards, things like that. But without him, that means more for those other 2 guys.
And again, I will say this. You talk about game script. In a big moment, what's Stafford likely to do? Is he likely to go away with the guy that he feeds constantly? No, he's likely, if he's throwing the football, OBJ and Cooper Kupp are going to be targets.
Right.
I'm not breaking news saying that, but biggest game of the year, you're not going to go to your guys less. You're going to trust your guys more.
Right. Exactly.
So
and
feed them.
Do you?
Okay, let me give you one more.
Go ahead.
While we're on Cooper Kupp, and again, I'll get to OBJ in a second because we fired on a prop already on game within the game on Monday. Put the Rams hat on. We're having a Rams discussion. Very good wardrobe change. Get the glasses off. Get the Burrow glasses off. They distract me anyway. Get them off.
All right, God, sorry.
Get them off. All right, thanks. There we go. Now we can roll. Now we're serious about Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
Plus money on his reception prop. Minus 140 on his over 102 yards. Let me slide this into you.
Okay.
No team has allowed more receptions to wide receivers, to slot wide receivers in particular, than the Bengals this season. Does that favor Cooper Kupp? Does that favor Cooper Kupp?
Say that again for the people.
Courtesy of Pro Football Focus, they've been very good to us this year, right? We've made some money off our Pro Football Focus stuff. Thank you.
I'm saying PFF all the time. Thank you.
Appreciate you. I might get a PFF jersey to wear with my Cooper Kupp jersey and just alternate them. No team has allowed more receptions to slot receivers this season than Cincinnati.
That's bad for Cincinnati's defense. Wow.
And this is not the slot receiver you want to give up.
Hell no, this is the slot receiver. This is the best slot receiver in the league.
Load it up. Come on with Cooper Kupp. Come on. Come on. You can give me some unders next week. You can give me unders you want next week. Fine. Let's go. Here we go.
Not on Cooper Kupp. I don't want no unders now. I hear that.
Let's roll.
Check that.
We'll get in. Well, I'll save you a little Cooper Kupp because we got to talk Cooper Kupp in every show. We'll do longest reception next week because you already know I'm going to be on that.
Yeah. His beard is tremendous too, by the way. I know you got to be a big fan.
And that's what I'm trying to do a Cooper Kupp. Mine's a little grayer. I'm a little older than Cooper, but
you might have to put a little touch up in there. That'd be good. You could pull off the Cooper Kupp. I'll be Stafford. You be Cooper Kupp. I'll pretend like I'm throwing. You can pretend like you're receiving. It's merch. We got that merch, 8 in a box merch. We might have to
Yeah, let's
that
get
going.
some merch. All right. You
What
want
else?
one more? You want one more Ram prop since you have the hat on that we need to
Yes.
discuss because you've already said it a
Yes.
couple times. One more.
Yes. Yes.
One more. The game script matters here.
Okay.
What we just talked about matters.
Yeah.
We gave out Cam Akers under 59.5 rushing yards last week. We got it. Okay.
Okay.
Cashed.
Okay.
It's up to 62.5 for this week.
Okay.
And most of the reason is what you said, right? The anticipation of them being the favorite, of them getting up, of them running the football.
Yes.
But let me give you some numbers. If you want to get an under in there, you want me to start doing unders? I'll give you let's look at a little Cam Akers potential under rush yards.
Okay.
All right, here we go. He's averaged 52 yards per game in the playoffs after missing the regular season.
Yeah.
Right? So he came back in week 18, got his feet wet, 5 carries, but he's only averaging 52 yards. The reason we went under last week is because the yards per carry were down around 2.5, number one. Number two, he had those fumble problems against Tampa Bay. We thought, is that going to limit his carries? I mean, I've been around football my whole life. I don't know a lot of coaches that say, hey, you know what? You're having trouble and you fumbled a bunch. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you more carries.
In the playoffs.
That doesn't happen in the playoffs. So what do? They give you less carries. Sonny Michel, what happened last week? Here comes Sonny Michel, right? He got in there. I'll give you some numbers again from Pro Football Focus. Sonny Michel took 57% of the snaps last week versus 40% for Cam Akers.
Did he really? He was in for that many more?
Sonny Michel had 11 touches to Akers 14. So we thought last week they might, we didn't know if they'd split, but our theory was if Sonny Michel gets 5 or 6 or 7 carries, that's harder for Akers to get there. That played itself out. Akers also might have got dinged, right? We saw him come out. Maybe he had a shoulder, maybe he had a little something. That probably contributed as well. Where's his health moving forward? So we've got all of that factored in. Mix in what I said is average 2.6 yards per carry in the playoffs. That's not lighting you on fire. So unless he pops one, which is exactly what we said last week, he may pop one here on the Cincinnati defense, and then we're in trouble, and the total would go over. But every other number is pointing to you that you have to look under here. I'll give you another one from Pro Football Focus. During the regular season, the Bengals saw the fourth fewest rushing attempts. Just stop there. And they were 10th in rushing yards per game allowed.
That's top third. That's pretty good. I would have never guessed that.
That's not bad.
That's not
and
bad
so again,
at all.
part of the handicap is Akers hasn't got greased up in a yards per carry, so he's going to need the volume. The reason those props were rising was because he did get volume in the first couple of playoff games. That started to change last week. Is Sonny Michel going to be in there more? Are they splitting carries? So even if they're winning and going run heavy, are they splitting and that affects volume? Should you look under on Cam Akers at 62.5? Thoughts?
I think you need to. I saw a lot of Michel. I had no idea, though, that he actually got more snaps or more touches than Michel.
He had less touches, more snaps. Less touches, more snaps. Yes.
Okay, so what I did notice is that he was the blocking back. When there was going to be a blitz, Michel was the guy to pick it up. He is by far the guy they trust in those passing situations. So he was out there more for that. So again, we're trying to handicap the game script. We don't know. This would be a fantastic in-game opportunity. Pre-game, I'm with you thinking under is the play. And the number moved up because Cincinnati's defense is not San Francisco's defense. Cincinnati didn't see this team multiple times going into the game and knew what to take away. So, and we got to worry about his health. There's a lot of questions going into it, but my initial lean on the Akers thing would be under. But if I like the Rams and I like this Rams lid and all this stuff going on with the Akers, I think I would play it over. So again, we give the people great information, both sides of a thing. Here you go. You tee it up, and I make a decision. Right now, I don't know. I will know more as we go. I want to see Akers. I want to hear the talk about practice, maybe who's getting more reps, who's not. But I think one thing you can't handicap is a 35-yard run. As soon as he breaks one of those, it's going over. We're in trouble.
Yeah, and
Longest rush? What's longest rush? Can we get in on that? That might be the prop.
So here's the thing, though. So the way I look at that is I can't take away every condition, right? I can't. Nope. If I could, I'd load up and I'd buy a new house based on my prop bet. But I can't eliminate every condition. So if the condition to beat me is he's got to bust one off, which he hasn't really done. He's got a long of 15 here in the postseason. Okay. I mean, if I'm limited and I give you all of those numbers right there, and you tell me in the Super Bowl unders are more popular and maybe they get a little more conservative, and again, the fumble problems were still there, right? You're not going to just suddenly say, okay, those didn't happen. Here's 25 carries again. That would surprise me. If he gets 25 carries, all right, then we're in some trouble. But that line is also pushing up, and he's not getting to that number. He hasn't got to that number yet. So give me, I think I'm going to play under. I haven't done it yet. I might try and wait to see where it goes, but I also don't want to lose some yardage. So that's where I am on that.
All right. I like it.
All right, there. I'm going to have a bunch more for you next week. I'll hold you there with props, right? I don't want to fire on, well, I probably will. I'll probably fire on 15 before we get to next week, but I'll try and save it.
We did cash considerations yesterday. Me, Newbie, and CH. Newbie, how many props did you have already? Already locked and loaded?
At least a dozen, maybe up to 15. I'm cut from the same cloth as B. Howe.
Attaboy, Newbie. Here we go. There's one game left. Sharapan. I got to start firing on stuff. I got one game left.
That's, believe me, we'd be in the book right now. It's Wednesday. We're recording in Vegas. The big reveal is tomorrow at the Westgate. The John Murray and Sherman and Ed and Rexy and all the guys that I know down there. We've been talking, texting. I'm like, listen, I'm going to tweet different books, different pictures. When are the props out? You must get asked 1,000 times, when are the props coming out? When are the props coming out? In Vegas, they don't come out till Thursday night. And what happens for years in Vegas is that Thursday night, the Westgate would put them out, but they don't put out the sheets until Friday morning. So a lot of people from different books would scoop them Friday morning, grab the sheets, and then go. And then all of a sudden, everybody's props would get released on Friday or Saturday at different places because they were copying. But what they didn't know is that there's a prop on those sheets that's fake. And then it's a wrong number. And that's a little inside secret that nobody knows, but nobody knows which prop it is. Well, I mean, those of us in the know which prop it is. But sometimes some people put that prop up and some people made some real money, or they got egg on their face putting up a prop on things that don't exist. That's enough about the props. What else you got?
Very good. Good nugget. All right, last thing, and then we'll get you out of here. We got to mix a little NHL in. You have your Pens jersey anywhere? Pens hat? Is there any? We already had wardrobe changes. You got anything?
I had all football stuff. I got no hockey stuff near me. Sorry, I got nothing.
All right. Well,
I got a Devils jersey though. Have you seen
that's
Devils
actually
jersey?
what I want. You actually have a Devils jersey?
Yeah, one of the books sent it to me. Keep talking. Talk to Newbie. I'll be right back. Yeah,
that's very good. I think we need to go in and find. I need to get. All right, so Newbie, I've got a lot of orders to make here. I've got Cooper Cup apparel I need, and we definitely need New Jersey Devils apparel.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can just pay for it using the trend that you're going to drop on these folks because it's just been cashing like crazy. You were telling me even a parlay action that was getting thrown in there, but it doesn't matter. You could buy shirts, you could buy hats for the next 10 years, and you'll still be eclipsed by the consig. Let's be real.
Well, there's no question. This isn't a competition, but I like to support the teams that are providing money back to us. And you mentioned the Devils are an ATM, right? The Devils are an ATM right now. You're just lining up, taking withdrawals. And I assume that doesn't change, right? That'll just continue. That trend never changes. It's always going to be in our favor.
I mean,
is that how that works, Newbie?
That's why not? Let's just keep knocking on wood. I think you and Dave talk about this too on Game Within the Game. When you have these streaks, you ride them until the wheels fall off because it's only going to lose one time. You know what I mean? It's going to cash how many times? It'll only lose one time.
All right, there you go. Very good. Newbie, all right, you're back with Devil. We didn't even talk about this. You didn't know I was going to do this, but this
line
is
change.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Both.
Yep.
That is nice. I need to get one of those.
Yeah, one of the books sent it to me. Play Up. They're live in Jersey and they're live in Colorado. The boys, Joe and Joe, and I forget the other guy's name, but Mike, Joe and Mike, the marketing guys and then the trading guys. They're like, hey, we have a lounge at New Jersey Devils Arena, and we want to send you a jersey. Would you wear it? I said, yeah, I'll wear it. So I've been wearing it. All this team does is give up goals in the first period. This is great.
So here we go. We talked about this last week. I hope you played along because it's cashed, twice since we talked about it last week.
Yes.
The Twitter follow, if you want to keep up with this, in addition to the show, we'll keep reporting it back to you. But at PSU Auto has done a great job, PSU Auto, of putting it in easy to read format. So it saves some of the having to go around and piece it together. But here's where we are. The Devils goal in the first 10 prop. Okay. Devils goal in the first 10 prop.
For the listeners, this is just a goal scored by either team in the first 10 minutes of the game. Doesn't have to be by the Devils.
Yeah,
it's any game that the New Jersey Devils are playing in. There will be a goal scored in the first 10 minutes of the game by either team. Go.
If I've done this right, because it cashed again last night for us. So it cashed Monday and Tuesday of this week already. I've got this at 18-1 over the last 19. It is a yes in 18 of the last 19 and 16 in a row. A goal has been scored in the first 10 minutes of a Devils game. It's incredible. And again, this week, they played Toronto in a home and home back-to-back Monday and Tuesday.
It's over in like 3 minutes.
Well, last night, Tuesday night, it took a while. It took 2 minutes and 57 seconds, 2 minutes, 47 seconds cash. On Monday, we cashed it in 42 seconds.
The first minute.
Boom, goal. So now, if we were really
getting
good,
expensive, though.
It's super expensive. I mean, you talked earlier about laying juice. It is super expensive. Now, last night, I went in for the Tuesday game and got it late Monday night at only minus 150. Which I thought was stealing. It can get up to minus 200. The other day when we talked about it on Monday in the afternoon for Monday night, it was minus 200. So we had to parlay it with Florida and Columbus. So yeah, the juice is significant, no question.
Yeah.
Well, right? The book isn't going to sit us and just keep giving us 150 when it's cashing every single night.
Well, no, now, the book has no defense other than like you keep putting it up and you keep taking a loss, and we got people like us out there talking about it. But the one book shortened the time, went from 10 minutes to 9 minutes and 30 seconds instead of the first 10 minutes.
We've seen that at some books now. The one DraftKings out here had gone to 9.5. They've since put it back to 10. So the last couple have been first 10 minutes, not first 9.5. That's held. Okay, now that information's great. It's fun. It's a good number. Here's how it may help you. Devils Pens. You've got the Devils jersey, Pittsburgh at night behind you.
Yes.
Playing Thursday night. Thursday night, the streak is on the line again. So keep an eye on it. Devils, Pens, goal in the first 10. And then what I like to do, right? You too, Dave, you tell me this.
Wait, when is that? That's tomorrow night or tonight?
Thursday.
Thursday? There's hockey games? Are you sure?
I don't know. I thought I was.
Oh, I thought we were taking a break for the All-Star game. I thought that was All-Star break.
Hold on. Stand by. No, I'm seeing Thursday schedule. I'm seeing New Jersey, Pittsburgh, 7 p.m. East. Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry. No. You're right. Sorry. There is a big gap there. Missed it. That's the 24th. Glad you said that. Okay. Glad you said that. Good.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, because we're going to be in Vegas doing the Fan Fest thing and all this other stuff. I'm trying to get that taken care of for Friday. I was like, wait a second. They don't play on Thursday. I thought that Wednesday's the last one. So
yes, you're
last
right.
8 games. But
okay. So we'll have to remind you of that when we come back in.
Exactly. We'll have to keep that in mind, but that has been a cash cow. And again, I tell people that in the book. Sometimes these lightning in a bottle things happen like this, and you ride them until they lose. Or you just play them as part of your regular routine. And as long as they win more than they lose, although this is getting expensive, this juice, you got to win. You got to win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 to at least make money. But it's a hell of a fun bet. And
it's fun. Instant gratification. Boom. When it's 42 seconds and you're dinging it and it's in my account, let's go.
It's so much fun. And when you tell people that it comes in, and I went on Hammer Don with the boys just, I told everybody, I said, listen, I got this one. I have a little note here. I said, I got this one from Brad Howe, my guy in West Virginia. And I heard Gumpy in the background say, like, Brad Howe, West Virginia, who's that? Like, and then I read it and they're like, whoa, that many times in a row. And I'm like, yes, Devils, first period, there will be a goal scored in the first 10 minutes. They're like, done, and all the boys checked it off. So, and I got the text last night. Hey, thanks for that Devils thing. That was great. I'm like, yeah, you thought that was good. The night before it was in 42 seconds. I'm sorry it took almost 2.5 minutes. Oh, man. What else you got before we go? Anything else?
That's it. Nope, that's it. Just wanted to sprinkle a little hockey in there for you.
I love it. West Virginia covered the other night. Basketball, Big 12 basketball is shaping up nicely.
Here's one for you. Here's one for you. I'll bring you some numbers here in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Big 12 basketball, tons of defense in that league. All the teams top 60 in the Ken Palm defensive efficiency. Everybody guards you, gets after you.
Yes.
It's an over league. It's been an over league to this point because the totals are coming down so much. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks.
How about that? Our friend Big T Taylor, the other producer, sent me that information. He started to look at that. Interesting stuff. We got a lot more to talk about Super Bowl wise, and I will. The plan is to be in LA, maybe by this weekend or by early next week or something. But I'm going to be there doing the shows and stuff, so we'll have Super Bowl stuff to talk about. But we're doing here on 8 in the Box is branching out into other sports, which I've always done. You have always done. But maybe the listeners haven't done. So what we'll morph into 8 in the Box won't just be about talking football. It's going to be talking about a bunch of stuff leading up to March Madness and who knows what else. Baseball, bro. We can't get it together.
I know. Go get it together because we're going to have to talk baseball soon. Let's go.
I know.
Get together. Enough of the BS. Get together.
Just please, just for everybody. I mean, every hat I got, this is Cincinnati. Look, I went and pulled a hat. Look what I pulled. Cincinnati. We can't get enough of this Cincinnati for the boys. All right, let's get out of here. I'm putting these glasses back on. How I don't care. This is Joe Burrow week. Joe Burrow. He's Brad Howe. We call him Brad Howe 07 on the Twitter. Our producer, Newbie Talks, at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. Dan Alexander. And myself, Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere at Sports BK Consig on the Twitter. Thank you for joining 8 in the Box, for watching on the Cash Considerations Podcast YouTube channel. Push the subscribe button. Tell someone else about it. And we'll see you guys next week.